Ladies and gentlemen, good day, and I welcome you to the Q4 FY23 earnings conference call of Vishnu Chemicals Limited to discuss the quarterly and annual business performance. We have from the management, Mr. Siddhartha Cherukuri, Joint Managing Director, and Mr. Hanuman Bansali, Vice President of Finance. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Some of the statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risk and uncertainties. For more details, kindly refer to the investor updates and other filings that can be found on the company's website. Now, I would like to hand the conference call over to Mr. Siddhartha for his opening comments, and then we will open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Neerav. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining this call. Our company has witnessed a remarkable performance in the financial year 23, with a 31% increase in income and a 68% surge in profit on a consolidated basis. The year gone by was an important year for us, and we ticked most of the boxes and improved in all areas fundamentally. Our consolidated EBITDA margins have increased by 550 basis points over the last 2 years. Our consolidated debt-to-equity ratio stands at 0.9 times, now compared to 1.3 a year ago. Our ROC is over 35% compared to 28% on Y-on-Y basis. That's a 14% increase over the last year. The primary factors driving the company's consistent performance include size and scale of operation, manufacturing and building sustainable and environment-friendly practices in our day-to-day operations, mitigating cyclicality to a large extent through a flexible product mix and backward integration process. At Vishnu, manufacturing is our core focus, and the chemistry we operate is an essential engine for performance, aesthetics, and longevity in the applications across pharmaceutical, consumer, and industrial sector. Lastly, we express our sincere gratitude to our shareholders, stakeholders, lenders, customers, and suppliers for their continued support, and we remain committed to the highest levels of corporate governance. I will now hand over to Hanuman to share the financial highlights.
Thank you, Mr. Siddharth, and good evening, everyone. Manufacturing is our core focus. After giving an update on the overall performance from a holistic point of view, let me now speak about the financial performance. Consolidated domestic and export sales continued its growth trend, growing by 36% and 26% respectively on a year-on-year basis. The consolidated total income for FY23 was 1,406 crores as compared to 1,075 crores in FY22, a growth of 31% on a Y-on-Y basis. Our consolidated EBITDA margin for FY23 was 17.4% compared to 15% in FY22, an increase of 200 basis points on a Y-on-Y basis. In FY23, we also achieved 137 crores of PAT compared to 81 crores in FY22, an increase of 68% on a Y-on-Y basis. Our PAT margins have increased from 7.6% in FY22 to 9.7% in FY23. Coming to Q4 FY23 performance, the consolidated revenues were 339 crores as compared to 336 crores in Q4 FY22, up by 1% on a Y-on-Y basis and 2% on a Q-on-Q basis. The consolidated EBITDA for Q4 FY23 was 64 crores compared to 53 crores for the corresponding quarter previous year, up by 20% on a Y-on-Y basis and 10% on Q-on-Q basis. Our consolidated EBITDA margins were 18.9% in the quarter Q4 compared to 15.8% in the corresponding quarter previous year. The consolidated PAT for Q4 FY23 was 36 CR compared to 29 CR for the corresponding quarter previous year, up by 25% Y-on-Y basis and 12% on a Q-on-Q basis. The net profit margin of the company in Q4 FY23 was 10.5% compared to 8.5% in Q4 FY22. The board has recommended a dividend of 0.4 rupees per equity share of rupees 2 face value for the financial year ended 31st March 2023, and the same shall be paid subject to the approval of shareholders at the ensuing AGM. The performance of Vishnu Chemicals is an outcome of its consistent focus on manufacturing, resulting in its highest ever EBITDA and PAT margins since inception, a reduction in leverage metrics, and generation of free cash consistently for 5 years now. The release of pledge by our lenders is a milestone for the company, and we are thankful to our consortium of banks for the continued support. With this, I would like to conclude my remarks. We can now commence the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Dhaval Shah from Girik Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, hello, sir. Great set of numbers. A couple of questions from my side. So first to start with, now we have around 98 crores of CWIP on the balance sheet. So how will this convert into revenue for us over next 2-year period? Secondly, our margins have improved, and I believe a lot of it is with the our logistic costs coming down and other operational expenses also reducing, while our top line has remained same. So, is there a phenomena where the chemical prices have reduced? There will be a volume growth, but there's a value degrowth, and our per ton EBITDA or per unit earnings, what we have maintained it. That's why reflecting in a higher percentage EBITDA margin. So these are my first 2 questions.
Good morning, Mr. Dhaval. Thank you so much for your question. I'll answer your first question. Yes, the CWIP is 98 crores as of 31st March 2023. I'd like to explain the breakup of this. Out of this 93 crores is CWIP towards our precipitated barium sulfate project, which is currently going on in our barium subsidiary, Vishnu Barium Private Limited. It is expected to be completed in the first half of the current financial year.
Okay.
The remaining is our replacement capex in chromium chemicals, which is a CWIP of 5 CR. So over here, firstly, I'll talk to you about our precipitated barium sulfate project. We will be the only producers of this chemical in India. Once it is operational, it will give us a first mover advantage to tap the existing customers who are currently relying on imports for their material needs. Overall, this will help us, create a new market in India for a new product. And there is a very good demand of this in countries like in continents like North America, Europe, and also India. Upon commissioning, overall, we will become the largest producers of barium chemicals in India, giving us an opportunity to meet Indian consumption needs while tapping our overall existing network of international clientele. So from 40,000 tons of capacity in barium chemicals in January 2022, we will operate on an installed capacity of 90,000 tons upon the commissioning of this project.
Yeah, which is by H1 FY24.
Yeah. in the next next 3 to 4 months, it should be fully operational.
Okay, so from the third quarter, we should see the numbers. Okay.
No, within next 3 months. So from the third quarter, correct, we will be able to see the numbers.
Okay, so third quarter will have the full number. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now this is used in paint industry, right? This precipitated barium sulfate.
Precipitated barium sulfate finds its application in the paint industry, in the powder coating industry, in the battery industry. It is also being researched by some of the most acclaimed scientists globally to create the whitest paint in the world directly from precipitated barium sulfate. It is also entered the Guinness Book of World Records last year for its ability to reflect 98% of sunlight.
Okay.
So it has the ability to cool outdoor surfaces, let's say your rooftops, by more than 4.5 degrees Celsius just by application of this paint. Recently, even in Telangana, state of Telangana, the government announced a rooftop cooling policy, wherein they will start making it mandatory for residential and commercial complexes to apply certain cooling agents on the roof, and this can also be a propellant towards that.
So we are adding to the specific this product. What is the capacity that we are adding?
So Dhaval, right now the plan is to add 30,000 tons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 40,000 we had in Jan 22, there is the various products of barium. 30,000 will be barium sulfate, and so that will be 70, and another 20,000 is which product to take it to 90?
Yeah, so the breakup of 90 is we have 60,000 tons of barium carbonate and 30,000 tons of precipitated barium sulfate once it will be operational.
Understood. Okay, and this the entire 30,000 we plan to sell these entire volume over like in the first year itself. Are we having enough domestic and export demand? How do you plan to consume the volume?
We have already spoken with some big end users, and the response is good, but they would like to test it and see how the end product works. I'll request Mr. Siddharth to give more insights on the marketing and sales prospect of this product.
Okay, sure.
Hello, Mr. Dhaval, this is Siddhartha with you. As the project is progressing, we are already in discussion with some good end users as well as distributors in India, as well as we already have some good existing channels outside India as well in Europe and North America. So we are seeing a lot of interest for them to work with us for this product, especially in India, since it's a complete import replacement. What's more interesting is there has been a consistent growth of 12% on Y-on-Y basis, so because it's directly related to the powder coating industry. If you go back 4 years ago, the powder coating production in India was about 67,000 tons. Today it stands at 140,000 tons. So in this 140,000 tons, barium sulfate is used as a primary filler to replace titanium dioxide.
Okay.
Because it is very close in terms of oil absorption and the tinting strength, and it's more economical to use barium sulfate versus titanium dioxide. So people are increasing the volume of barium sulfate to bring down the overall cost and get the same effect of the final product.
Interesting. Okay, so this will also be used. This will be for powder coating, and in the regular paints where TiO2 is also used.
It is used to give a gloss effect on the paint. Let's say your automobile car. Like if you go back 10, 15 years ago, most of even your Maruti was mostly a matte finish.
Yes.
So today, even a very a mid-sized car has a very nice gloss effect. So that gloss effect, that tint is coming from barium sulfate.
Understood. Okay.
And just to add to it, aluminum profile coating, your white goods, your air conditioner, your fans, all are powder coated because it for the gloss effect. And powder coating has the unique advantage of corrosion resistance versus a normal paint.
Understood. And sir, for my second question regarding what would be our volume growth at the company level for FY23, and how do you see the volume growth for FY24 and 25?
In FY23, the growth came predominantly from value growth in both our chromium chemicals as well as barium chemistry. And FY24, we are going to witness volume growth in both these chemistries, as we are seeing that barium chemicals is doing well now, and gradually it is expected to even pick up better pace from where it was in Q4. Q4 was the second best quarter in terms of volume of take in the entire financial year FY23 in barium chemicals. So we are looking forward that momentum would continue in the quarters moving forward. On the chromium chemicals side, we had a very good year, but we also took a maintenance in the December quarter, which overall impacted our capacity utilization, though did not have any impact on our top line due to the value growth. We don't expect to take any major maintenance in our chromium chemical plants this year. So we will see the effect of the 10,000 tons that we have added in capacity in July to be realized in this current financial year.
Correct. Okay. Sir, when we talk to large chemical distributors, what they comment is that since China has opened up, there is a lot of supply of chemicals coming from China into India as well as the global market, which is hurting Indian exporters as well as domestic demand. In your business, what is the trend you see?
Well, in a standalone business, the chromium chemical, China is not a competitor for us, or not an immediate peer, because whatever chromium chemicals produced in China are sold in China.
Okay.
So we are competing with US, Turkey, and South Africa, who are our main players. In barium, yes, China is an important player. But I mean, we are not witnessing, a lot of price pressure at the moment, and also we are not seeing any volume decrease as is. Although there was an impact on during Q3 because of high gas prices. Now the demand is coming back slowly.
Okay. Yes. And so basically, you are not getting impacted by any sort of dumping from China at the moment.
Yeah. And also the product which we are going to launch, barium sulfate, is more of a technical product. So we already are seeing a better quality versus what Chinese are supplying in India. So I think it's not just commercial, but also on the technical side, we'll be able to prove that, there are benefits of using our product in terms of consumption and quality to get a better gloss effect versus what Chinese are doing. Although it will take time, but we are confident on that as well.
Thank you. Dhaval, sorry to interrupt you. I'll request to join the queue for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Ranbir Singh from Nuvama Wealth. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking the question, and congratulations for a good set of numbers. Just on chromium side, 10,000 capacity we have added. So after this 10,000 capacity, after addition of this capacity, how has been the utilization for full year?
Good evening, Mr. Ranbir. So we have added 10,000 tons capacity. As we don't share the volumes on an annual basis or on a quarterly basis, I won't be able to share the actual numbers with you. But bearing Q3, which was a quarter where we took a maintenance, on an overall basis, our plants operated at more than 80% utilization. And we also crossed 90% utilization in certain quarters.
That you said about barium, right?
About chromium chemicals.
Acha, chromium.
Chromium chemicals. In barium chemicals, our capacity was at in the range of 55 to 60% of 60,000 tons of installed capacity of barium carbonate. The reason being last year was a tough overall quarter that we saw in Q2 and Q3, where the natural gas prices had gone up in Europe, which we are not the consumers of, but our customers are. And now we are witnessing that the overall natural gas prices have come down significantly. So it's a good sign for our customers.
So 40,000 metric ton capacity we earlier had, and then 20,000 we have already added there. That was utilized in this year.
We have added it, but we did not operate it at full utilization. So more or less we operated it at the same utilization as we did in 40,000 tons.
So what remains here is a 30,000 barium sulfate capacity. It's likely to that would be added this year in first half, right?
Correct.
And so 93 crore which was under that WPI, that was mainly related to barium sulfate, and whatever we had to spend on barium carbonate, 20,000 is already capitalized, right?
Absolutely. The entire project of barium carbonate is fully capitalized in our balance sheet as of 31st March 2022. So that project is fully completed.
Okay. Although you are not disclosing that production and utilization, but just for indicative purpose, if you could highlight about the realization, how in chromium, whether the realization is improving quarter on quarter, or this is stable, or how do you see even the short term outlook, if you could comment on this, both for chromium and barium.
Thank you again for your question. I understand it's a very important question. Let me start off with this way, that on a year-on-year basis, there is more than 30% value growth in chromium chemicals. At the same time, what we have witnessed is from the Q2 of this financial year onwards, the prices started coming down both from the freight point of view, and that was passed on to our customers. Similarly, when the prices had gone up, we had also charged our customers. So it is our duty to pass on the benefits back to our customers. Despite the reduction in prices that started from mid of Q2 and it continued till Q4, what we have not seen is any volume degrowth. There's a very good demand for our chromium chemicals, as we are seeing. And on a year-on-year basis, the value growth was more than 30%. And going forward, we believe that there will be a good volume growth to support this revenues trajectory. But the focus of our business is not really to target a certain revenue. What we are focusing is to target certain EBITDAs and meet those margins.
Understood. And for barium, how was this trend?
On the barium chemicals, like I said, last year, there was no major volume growth. But overall, what we are seeing is from January onwards, the volume is picking up. And going forward, it will improve gradually, as we see. Last year, the top line growth was predominantly driven by our improved blended realization, which increased by nearly 8% on a year-on-year basis.
Right. Okay, so I think going forward in FY22 to 24, growth would be mainly from that capacity volume side, and we can expect a marginal improvement in pricing. That is what we should take here.
Like we said, in both these chemistries, the pricing is determined based on three factors. Factor number one is the raw material cost. Factor number two is the freight cost. And factor number three is the overall demand and supply, or the market sentiments, as we call it. Now, factor number one is pretty strong as of now. So the raw material prices for some of the key materials that we procure has not really come off, but the freights have come down, and that is also leading to a overall correction in realization. It's not huge correction, but it's under 10 odd % right now. So as we go, if there is a overall correction in raw material prices, we will obviously pass it on to our customers. But the overall endeavor will be to work on a certain EBITDA and maintain that EBITDA going forward.
Okay. That actually that's very helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ravi Reddy from Reddy Investments. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much to give me this opportunity. Sir, how much capex is still due in financial year 24? How much capex due in March?
Hello, Mr. Reddy. Near about 10 crores is pending as a capex, which has to be spent during this financial year.
10 crore. And when the all capex completed, can you give some guidance of what will be top line in financial year 24, or you will skip that?
So we won't be able to give a guidance at this juncture, but our endeavor will be to grow at a similar levels of what we have seen over the last 2 years. And now that this new product addition in barium is happening, so we are very confident that the growth trajectory will continue.
So any margin expansion are you seeing in this financial year 24?
Yes, we are expecting a margin improvement in chrome as well as barium. Barium, in lieu of a backward integration, what we have done,
Right.
our raw material costs will further improve. So
Right.
that can be leveraged for us to gain more market share globally as well as attain desired EBITDA margin. Achieve desired EBITDA margin.
Okay. And any planning to reduce the debt in current year?
Yeah, I mean, nearly about 40 crores debt will be reduced during this financial year.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rikin Shah from Omkara Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Congrats on a good set of numbers. Just wanted to understand on the margin front, we have seen a contraction in gross margins, but EBITDA margins have improved.
Your voice is coming muffled. Can I request you to speak through the handset?
Yeah, it's on handset. Am I audible?
If I may request you to speak a little louder, please.
Sure. So I'm asking that we have seen a contraction in gross margins in both barium and chromium, but EBITDA margins in chromium have improved. So can you help us understand this?
Good evening, Mr. Ricky. The gross margins have been more or less the same on a year-on-year basis. Last year in chromium chemicals, we had a gross margin of about 43%, and now it's about 44% in FY23. Our EBITDA margin in FY22 was about 14.5% in FY22, which has now increased to 18%. Now, the raw material side, overall the prices of, like we said, the prices of our key raw materials have remained high during the financial year FY23 compared to FY22. And that's the reason why we have not, seen any major reduction in the overall value, the blended realization for chromium chemicals. Overall, the next important part is our conversion cost, which has reduced by 1% on a year-on-year basis. Our employee costs, which was 3.5% of our revenues, have come down to about 2.9%. But the major reduction is in our selling and administrative costs, which consists of our shipping and forwarding expenses, which has come down from 12.3% last year to 10.5% on a standalone basis.
Right. So within Barium, if I evaluate Q on Q, last quarter we did 28 crores and we broke even on a PAT level. And this quarter we've done 38 crores and we're still breaking even on a PAT level. So, what has happened here?
Thank you for observing this. There's an increase in finance cost in the Q4. At a EBITDA level at Vishnu Barium, we had a pretty good quarter. We did about 11% EBITDA margin compared to 9.5% in the same quarter last year. However, our finance cost was about 2.8 CR in Q4 FY23 in the Barium vertical, out of the total 6.6 CR that we expensed throughout the year. So that led to a decline in RD and hence the PAT.
So going forward, some of these cost pressures, we expect them to reduce a little bit.
Like we said, we are seeing that the markets are coming back. The Indian markets, as well as the global markets, are showing resilience for barium carbonate. It is a non-substitutable product used in the ceramic tiles and bricks industries. So as the demand comes back, as we produce more, overall our operating levels will directly drive the profitability upwards.
I'd like to add to it as well. So our focus will continue to remain on improving the EBITDA margin. Following changes are going to be adopted, like the backward integration in barium.
All right. So regarding soda ash, would love to hear the outlook. So we were not expecting much of a global capacity addition, but with some capacity of 5 million tons coming in Inner Mongolia, we are seeing domestic price cuts as well. So how does this impact us, and what do we expect? Is there a change in outlook for soda ash?
On our side, there won't be a lot of changes per se because for this commodity like soda ash, logistics will still remain an important price component. So the prices in India, although there'll be some changes coming over the next few quarters, we have not witnessed them yet. There are few drops, but nothing significant. But logistics will play a very important role moving forward, and a duty component also will impact it. In our backward integration, just to reiterate, it's not just for us saving on soda ash. We have also negated another important raw material, which is sulfuric acid, which is also helping us overall.
Right. All right. And so basically we are, I think, approximating it for 12 rupees, and right now the going rate is 33, 34. If that's fair.
I think, the going rate is close. Maybe you're talking on a basic levels, yes. Yeah, that's about where we are. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Centrum Broking Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congrats on good set of. My first question is in terms of competition. So given that the costs have come down except for RMs, and we have also had a strong traction on our margins because of that, are the other players who are probably sitting on the sidelines or were operating at lower rate, they have again come back into the system, and that is impacting pricing and probably will have even repercussions on the volumes. Any sense on this from your end? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nagraj. The way we look at the whole business is with respect to the product mix and how the industry is doing. So here is what we are witnessing. We are seeing a very strong, growth in the automobile industry. The key factor for our chromium chemicals, whether it could be electroplating, it could be leather, it could be metal treatment. So we are seeing a very strong traction from that application side. Also, the superalloy industry, now that the aerospace, there's a good growth, given that the Airbus and Boeing are receiving good orders, not just from India but around the globe. So that will need more chromium metal in the application of superalloy. So that's going to keep the volumes up in the years to come. That's how we see. We see a strong growth in the superalloy industry.
Right. I was primarily talking from the competition perspective. I mean, are we seeing any kind of a short-term or mid-term impact from the competition coming in? I mean, on a longer-term basis, as you explained, probably things are quite favorable. But on a short-term basis?
Well, we have already seen some price adjustments, and we are not seeing the prices correcting any further. And whatever raw material price, adjustments and the freight adjustments, we have passed it on. And the way we look at it is the prices have adjusted and have already bottomed.
Right. Got it. Thanks. My second question is in terms of margins and growth. Now, last year, as you explained, that it was primarily driven because of the value or pricing, favorable pricing. Incrementally, the volume growth would be a large driver for us, and that would primarily determine how much absolute EBITDA increase will happen and flow to the bottom line. And probably our margin trajectory will remain at, say, 18% plus minus odd levels incrementally, given that the prices, considering the prices, stable pricing for both barium and chromium chemicals. Thank you.
I think our objective is to target an 18% EBITDA and could be even upwards. So for that, we have to carefully understand the demand and supply for the product mix what we are producing. And moving forward, the question was what would drive the volume growth?
Right. I mean, last year it was primarily value-driven growth. So incrementally, how much of volumes we produce, I think concurrently a similar kind of growth we'll be able to see in EBITDA. Is that assumption right?
Yeah. So, like we have given a guidance that the 10,000 tons of additional capacity is going to come in during this financial year. Now, the idea is we will be focused more towards producing chromic acid, where we are seeing a good traction from the wood preservative and plating, or it will go more into chrome oxide, which will eventually lead to chrome metal production. So I think we will take a call on that. And also we will see a good volume growth in barium now that because of this barium sulfate expansion product launch, which is going to happen in the next quarter. Mostly the volume growth will be coming through barium chemistry. That's how we are seeing that.
Right. Thank you. My last question is from a growth perspective or strategy perspective, from a 3 to 5 years horizon. So are we going to go in for any product line expansions or any other new areas, maybe catering to a different user segment, or we will be primarily focused on the existing product lines and expand further ourselves into penetrating the market? Thank you.
Yeah, there's quite a good opportunity within both the verticals, chromium and barium. So we are working very closely with our R&D team to develop to produce chromium metal, which will help us to go into superalloy industry as well as the welding electrode. And there's a good opportunity as the defense sector is growing in India, and we see a good growth coming over the years. And as there is no domestic producer, most of the chromium metal is imported, so it will be a good import substitute opportunity. And on the barium, we are also working on other value-add products of high-purity barium carbonate, which is used in the semiconductor industry, which has a good growth prospects as well. Although there's no much consumption in India, it's mostly in Korea, Japan, and US where this product is used. And we are also working on, some battery chemicals, which could fit into our portfolio.
Sure. That was nice. Thanks a lot and best of luck, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next follow-up question is from the line of Dhaval Shah from Girik Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I wanted to understand, since we don't share quarterly values, is that now, like if we did X tonnage of barium and chromium in March, so do we see a growth in June quarter and September because like by July our new capacity will come on stream, so that definitely get the volumes. But for April, May, June, are we seeing a growth? Is there any seasonality? I just want to understand that side.
Thank you, Mr. Dhaval, for the question. We won't be able to comment on the ongoing quarter, but what we can see is that the volumes in both the chemistries are quite resilient, and that is continuing to grow as I'm speaking to you. From our point of view, we are looking at driving more volumes than trying to look at a particular realization per kg. Because that automatically takes care of my desired EBITDAs and desired gross profits.
Okay. So for barium chemistry, if I understand correctly, you mentioned the utilization was around 55 to 60% for FY23. Is that number right?
That's correct.
Okay, fine. And now that was 60,000, and now another 30,000 will come by next 3-4 months.
Yeah,
fine. So that's 55 to 60% of barium carbonate utilization. How do you see that going forward in 24 and 25?
Yeah, we are targeting to utilize the capacities upwards of 70% through the year.
Okay. And does barium carbonate act as a input material to make this precipitated barium sulfate?
No, it is not a feed for precipitated barium sulfate. It has synergies. I mean, both the products have synergies because both of them have the same origin from barite, which is the mineral coming out from the planet. But the production process, not a starting raw material. Yeah, it's not a starting raw material. Barium carbonate is not the starting raw material for precipitated barium sulfate.
Okay, so whatever we produce of barium carbonate and sulfate is all sold out in the market. Nothing is captively consumed.
No.
Got it. And on the chromium side, how was the utilization?
Our overall utilization in chromium chemicals, like I said, if I leave aside the December quarter, it has been more than 85%. But if I account for December quarter, which is the quarter in which we took our maintenance after 2 years, it was close to about 80%.
Okay, fine. And this both the chemicals, again, just reconfirming, did not see volume growth in 23. It was all value growth.
That is right.
Okay, so after a gap of one entire year, we are going to see a volume growth coming back for us.
See, there was always a good demand for chromium chemicals, and we did not have any major inventory at all. And just like to highlight first, number one, in chromium chemicals, our entire inventory is more or less put for orders to be delivered over a period of time. Secondly, in barium chemicals also, our sales to production ratio was 99% as of for the entire year. We sold whatever we produced. We did not carry inventory that can become a deterrent. But we did not have any inventory as of 31st March. So we are looking forward to an overall good year in terms of volumes in both the chemistries.
Got it. Got it. And you mentioned about your target EBITDA of around 18%, and while you've already touched that in the fourth quarter on a consolidated basis. So, and plus we are assuming 70% plus utilization and getting value-added products. So then technically the EBITDA margin should have an impact of operating leverage plus your value-added products. Is my understanding correct?
That is a good analysis. When we said 18%, on an annualized basis, if you see FY23 consolidated, we touched about 17%.
Correct.
Going by the momentum, we are at 18.5, 18.9%. But that is what we would like to, achieve throughout the year.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ankur Kumar from Alpha Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congrats for a decent set of numbers, and thank you for taking my questions. So my question is on barium sulfate. So what is your peak revenue potential that we are expecting from this business?
Hello, Mr. Ankur. With the installed capacity of 30,000 tons, we are expecting a revenue of upwards of 250 crores from this product mix, because we are going to get barium sulfate and sodium sulfide in this chemistry.
Got it, sir. And we are saying 70% utilization in the first year.
I'm not sure if we have given that guidance. We are expecting upwards of 50% utilization in the first year, and we are hoping we'll get product approvals from the end users sooner than later.
Got it, sir. And sir, on the chromium side, as in this year we haven't had any volume growth is what you are saying, but we are expecting better numbers for the coming year. So what are the key reasons that we are expecting better numbers on the volume side for the chromium for the coming year?
Mainly on account of the product mix, what we want to focus on now that we are seeing more traction from North America for our chromic acid and chrome oxide, where we are seeing better gross margins and also overall better realization will follow. So we'd like to focus on that. So the idea is we will have to kind of leverage a flexible product mix and see which products are giving us improved EBITDA margin on the overall volume.
Sure, sir. And sir, you are saying that Q3 we saw some capacity maintenance related break. So, and this quarter we haven't seen any such. But if I look at Q4 versus the Q3, there hasn't been much jump in the sales. So is it like prices has fallen? That is why we are not seeing much jump in the revenue, or how should we look at that front?
Well, you must have witnessed across the chemical industry, there has been a price correction on account of raw materials and on account of price reduction. So I would look at it as a price correction than a price drop.
Got it, sir. And sir, for the coming year, do we expect like prices have bottomed out, or how should we look at, because our revenue is kind of dependent on that number. But you're saying margins, also margin you're saying as in on percentage terms, you're not saying that on an absolute number, any EBITDA like guidance you would like to give?
It's very hard to, assess the market pricing and because it's purely demand supply. As of now, I would say we feel that the prices have bottomed out, and at the plant level, we are working very closely with the production team to improve on the yields and further improvise the costing model. So our efforts are afoot on that side. But with respect to the correction on the pricing, the way we look at it is the prices have bottomed. But again, it's purely a demand-supply scenario. But as of now, we are seeing a very steady demand for both chromium and barium chemicals. So we don't expect a big price correction to happen in the next few quarters.
Thank you. We'll take the next question from the line of Nishit Shah from Ambika Fincap. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Dhruv Shah here. Congratulations on a really strong set of numbers and especially on your balance sheet. Hanuman, first question, how sustainable is this working capital and is there any room to further improve it from the current levels?
Good evening, Mr. Dhruv. Thank you for your question. Yes, overall on the working capital side, we are looking to improve our inventory days further. As you have seen, we have reduced the inventory days over the last 2 years quite significantly, coming down from 112 days in FY22 on a consolidated basis. It's about 91 days. We will see further drop in this through the year.
Right. So we have seen reduction in our payable days as well, right, in the current year.
Sir, sorry, you're sounding a little distant from the phone.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have seen reasonable reduction in our payable days as well, right? So do you see it reducing it further, impacting your working capital?
On the payable days, I think it's in the range of 84 to 94 days, 95 days. So I think it would be around this range for the next couple of quarters. But we would like to close this year in and around 70 to 25 days.
My next question is on the realization in barium sulfate, Siddharth. How do we see this realization? Because if I am not wrong, there are on India Mart, barium sulfate is even available at 40 and some sells it at 200. So where do we start and how do you see it progressing over next couple of years?
So within I Dhruv, this is Siddharth with you. This is a very specialty product. So there within barium sulfate, there are 4 to 5 different grades. Based on the particle size and different applications as well as the gloss effect. So there is a commodity end of a barium sulfate and there is a specialty end of the barium sulfate. So we'll be more focused towards the specialty end because we are confident on achieving those specs.
So are we taking approvals from the customers for our specialized grades?
Sorry?
Are we taking approval from our customers currently for the specialized grade or the commodity grade?
Well, we are currently at a sampling phase on the specialty grade. So we are waiting for the customer's approval. Probably will take 1 or 2 months. And on the commodity grade, yes, it's more of a B2C business. To start off, even that will be a way to go. But our ultimate focus will be towards the specialty grade.
And can you just quantify the realization? What prices it sells at? Sorry.
Just to add sulfate chemistry, we will be getting barium sulfide as well, not just barium sulfate. Na2S.
Right. I just wanted to know the specialty grade at what rate is currently being sold in India or imported in India right now?
It's at the range of, like you mentioned, it starts from 50 rupees going up to 100 rupees range. The specialty grade is at 100 rupees per kilo level, and the commodity side of it is at a 50 rupees per kilo level.
Understood. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And my last question is on the chrome metal side. So you said that you guys are working on the R&D. Where would have we reached on this part, and when do you see us putting up a plant for chrome metal, Siddharth?
Dhruv, currently we are more focused towards completing our barium sulfate project, because we are expecting the commercial production to commence in the month of July. Hello?
Yeah. I'm audible. It's audible.
And chromium metal, like we mentioned, the R&D activity is going on, and it's at a very advanced phase. And we are hoping to start looking at a pilot plant somewhere towards end of this year.
Understood. Right. That's it from my end, and once again, congratulations on a really strong set of numbers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kuneet Singh from CCIPL. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. So pardon me if I'm repeating any of my questions because I joined a bit late. So on a consolidated basis, what kind of a revenue growth are we looking at? What kind of volume growth are we looking at in FY24 as compared to FY23?
Good evening, Mr. Guneet. Thank you for your question. So overall, due to our flexible product mix, we have been able to penetrate in the markets where we were not there earlier. So, from a volume perspective, the overall order book is looking quite robust. We have a coherent portfolio of more than 7 products in our chromium chemicals, and now with a new product going to start in barium, it will add more strength to our overall organization. But right now, we won't be able to give you any guidance. We don't give a guidance on a volume or a value basis in either of our chemistry. But what we are looking at is, since all our plants are operating and we have a steady flow of inquiries for our products, not just in existing applications, but in applications which are developing more over a period of time, like in super alloys industries and batteries industry. So we are quite excited to be developing newer grades to meet these requirements. And for this, we will obviously go ahead and produce more of sodium dichromate, which is sold directly in the market and also acts as a feed for the derivative products that we manufacture in chromium chemicals.
All right. So can we say that we can maintain the level of growth that we saw, say, in FY23 on a conservative level?
That would be a guidance, but we apologize. We don't, as a company, we have never been giving a guidance.
All right. So my last question is regarding the QIP or the money that was being raised. So do we have any updates on that, and regarding the utilization of those funds, and maybe the deadline of when, the timelines of when the money would be raised and the means?
Hello, hi, this is Siddharth. We have received a board approval for QIP, enabling approval. So this enabling approval is for a period of 9 months, about 12 months. So as of now, we don't have an update, but as things progresses, we'll be happy to keep you informed.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naitik Mohta from Sequent Investments. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir, and congratulations on good set of numbers. Just a couple of questions from my side.
The audio is not very clear. May I request you to speak through the handset?
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, slightly better.
Yeah. So what I was asking is, for this capex of barium sulfate that we are undertaking, so what was the total outlay that we had planned for this plant?
The total capex is 290 crores.
290 crores for the plant.
Excuse me, it's 90 crores.
Okay. So we are looking at, so you were, as you mentioned to some previous participants that.
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
So the line for the participant dropped. We move on to the next participant. The next question is from the line of Rikin Shah from Omkara Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question again. Just wanted to ask, on the barium front, how is the product being picked up in Europe? Because I understand it's being used in the building material sector.
Yes, it is used in the building material sector. During Q3, on account of natural gas prices increase in Europe, there has been an impact. Now that the the prices of gas have come back to the pre-COVID levels, we are seeing steady demand coming back, and I would say that we are back to the regular volumes what we have anticipated.
Right. All right. And just so this question is, zooming out a little. We are planning to add further 20,000 tons in chromium. But we have backward integration of soda ash of 30,000 to 35,000 tons. In a world where there is normalized energy and labor prices, and 25% of chromium capacity is no longer mothballed. How do we fare then? Just a little bit of a long-term perspective, this question.
I think there is a mix-up in between, from your side, mix-up in between barium and chromium, because there's no soda ash utilization in barium. So could you...
Chromium.
Yeah. So your question is, will we be able to move this additional volumes what we are going to produce? Is that your question?
Right, because we have backward integration in chromium of only 30,000 tons of soda ash, right?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Mr. Rikin, I'll request you to repeat the question.
So I'm saying that earlier we had a 80,000 ton chromium chemical capacity, and we have backward integration of soda ash facility of 30,000 tons. Now we are expanding to 1 lakh tons, right? But our backward integration remains the same. So we are not backward integrated for a larger part of the chromium chemical facilities, right? So will that impact us when things have normalized globally?
Yeah, there will be a proportionate increase in our soda ash production. Just to say, there's a different way to look at it. So we are recovering soda ash from the process by pumping in carbon dioxide instead of sulfuric acid. So it's more of a recovery process. As we produce more, the recovery also will be proportionately increased. And for that, at our end, we do have enough room, I would say, spare capacity in terms of CO2 gas, as well as on the process side. The equipment is able to handle this additional CO2 injection as well as soda ash generation. So as the SDC production increases proportionately on the 50% basis, even the soda ash production also will increase.
Right. All right. Got it. Thanks a lot, son. That's it from my end.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of C. Srihari from PCS Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, you are on.
Yeah, thank you. On the chromium side, I would like to know the supply side scenario. I heard that some production is going to get curtailed globally.
Excuse me, again, the voice is not audible. Excuse me, sir.
Hello, is it better now?
Yeah.
Sir, there is a slight airy sound coming from your background.
Yeah, sorry. Firstly on the chromium side, I would like to know the supply side scenario. I heard that there is some constraint also it's part one. And number two, on the barium sulfate side, I would like to know whether it's being pitched as a competitor to titanium dioxide, and will it be across the spectrum?
Well, it's I'll start off with your second question. Is barium sulfate a replacement of titanium dioxide? To some extent, it is, because it's a most economical alternative to TiO2. Whereas they can blend it with TiO2. Any powder coating industry as well as the paint industry, they're going to blend it to bring down the overall cost and at the same time get the same effect on the paint. So that's why we are seeing slowly an increase in demand for barium sulfate, because it is acting as an alternative for titanium dioxide, precisely in the coating industry, powder coating industry. And what was your other question?
May I request you to unmute your line from your side and go to the follow-up question, please? Srihari, can you hear us?
Yeah, I actually missed a major part of it. I'm sorry. Will it be possible to repeat it, please?
I'm saying, so you asked me, is barium sulfate a replacement of TiO2?
That's right.
Yeah, to some extent it is in certain applications like powder coating industry, where the objective of the powder coating industry is to achieve a certain level of oil absorption. So it's able to give that effect, and this will be a most economical alternative for the powder coating, powder coating producers, whereby the amount of volume on a year-on-year there is an increase, whether they are mainly kind of balancing in between the both as a filler.
So in terms of volumes, what will be the share of powder coating in the overall demand?
The overall demand for powder coating industry, I can put it this way. 3 years ago, powder coating premix production in India was about 76,000 tons, and in 3 years it's gone up to 140,000 tons. So that's the kind of growth. As this powder coating industry grows, parallelly the demand for barium sulfate will continue to increase.
What I wanted to know is, as a part of the overall demand for titanium dioxide, how much of that would come from this particular sector, powder coating?
I would say about 15-20%.
Okay. Yeah. And as regards the supply scenario for chromium?
Supply scenario for chromium remains steady. We are not seeing any much price adjustments. What we are seeing, the prices have already adjusted, and we are not seeing any more price adjustment, downward adjustments moving forward.
No, I need to say from the supply point of view, are any global majors cutting down on production?
No, we are not witnessing, and we are not hearing any, production cuts globally for the chrome.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you everyone for your time today. It has been a pleasure. If there is any further question or queries that we would have not been able to answer due to lack of time, please feel free to reach out to me on investors@vishnuchemicals.com. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Vishnu Chemicals Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.